Hello and welcome to Brave Souls Rewind, the show where I 200 older characters so you don't have to. Today we'll be covering Tag Team Mayuri, a character I've had for a really long time, but I've never actually used, so I figured why not do it properly at level 200. Now as always, I started with the normal attack damage build, and his attack stat is not great, it's actually really bad. At least it's over 600, not every character has that, but he also doesn't even have Bruiser. Still, that hasn't stopped characters from being okay with this build in the past, but his attack has no range, and that's after having a plus 15 long reach. It wouldn't be that bad if his attacks were faster, but sadly they're not. As it stands, you have to get really close and personal to the enemies, and even then you're not dealing that much damage. Sure, I could have boosted his attack higher since I have a golden chappie on this account, but if you have to go to those lengths in order for them to deal a decent amount of damage, then this build is just not viable. Now next up we have the strong attack damage build, and I've gotta say I actually really like this character's strong attacks. He straight up throws Ashisogi Jizo, so it's definitely different than any other character's strong attacks, and I have to say they are a lot of fun to use. With that said, they don't deal that much damage, and they take forever to activate. Not to mention, while they do have a decent amount of range compared to some other OG characters, it's still not that much. Now that wouldn't be a problem if his attacks were faster to activate, but since they're not, it gives the enemies plenty of time to get away from where the actual attack is gonna happen. It actually happened to me multiple times when filming this video, and if they miss, you're stuck with nothing but a normal attack to defend yourself with until your strong attacks come back, and I don't need to remind you how bad that was. So yeah, this build is not viable. Now next up we have the strong attack recharge build, a build I actually found quite fun since I really like this character's strong attacks. However, fun doesn't mean usable, and that's exactly the case we have here. He pretty much still suffers from everything he had in the last build. Sure, his strong attacks come back faster, but they deal no damage since the only thing he has is his strong attack damage link and his plus 10 berserker. The only advantage I would say this build has to the other one is that they come back faster and he has debilitating poison on them, so the odds of you inflicting that increase. Unfortunately though, this advantage is not enough to make this a viable build. Now really quick, before I actually talk about this build, I want to talk about the whole hybrid thing for the rewinds. This is probably the last time I'm going to do it where it's a normal attack damage link, a strong attack damage link, and a strong attack recharge link. I'm going to start using frenzy characters instead, something I didn't want to do before since not every player had access to these characters. But since it's looking like everybody's going to have pretty easy access from now on, I'm going to start using those instead. That said, there's not really that much more to talk about this build. It's just bad all around. And I would actually say it's worse than any of the other builds, which is actually very strange for a hybrid build. You just get damage from nowhere, and your attacks either miss from having poor range, or the enemies are able to get out of the way in time. Either way, it's just not a good build and not a good character. So yeah, this is one of the few times that I can't see them actually fixing this character, unless they actually change the animation for his strong attacks. I would not recommend you 200 this character at all, unless you really like Mayuri and you're just there to collect them. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what other characters you want to see in the rewind.